What if I told you that the Atlanta Falcons are on the brink of making a move that could shake the very foundations of the NFL? Picture this. A quarterback who once embodied stability in Minnesota, now a high-profile acquisition in Atlanta, could be on the verge of being traded. Not just anywhere, but to a bitter rival. As the whispers grow louder, the question looms. Could Kirk Cousins, the Falcons' biggest offseason signing, actually be heading to the New Orleans Saints? Let's dive into this intriguing scenario. The trade rumors. Heat up, the Falcons have been weighing their options, considering sending Cousins and his staggering $45 million contract to teams like Pittsburgh or even back to Minnesota. Notably, NFL insider Adam Schefter has reported that both teams are open to covering a portion of that hefty price tag, around $10 million. But here's the kicker. Atlanta is looking for a more significant reduction, aiming to shed nearly $20 million from their books. This demand shifts the entire landscape of potential trades. A shocking proposal. Enter Sterling Sharp of Pro Football Network, who recently floated a jaw-dropping scenario that has Falcons fans doing double takes. What if Atlanta actually considered trading Cousins to the New Orleans Saints? The mere thought has fans scratching their heads in disbelief. Would the Falcons really arm a divisional rival with a seasoned quarterback like Cousins, only to face him twice a year? The stakes get higher. The context surrounding this rumor adds an extra layer of intrigue. The Saints, fresh off drafting Tyler Shaw in the second round, may find themselves in dire need of a reliable starter if Derek Carr's injury turns out to be serious. In that light, a trade for Cousins starts to make sense, at least from New Orleans' perspective. But what's in it for Atlanta? This is where the plot thickens. The Falcons have just emerged from a draft that has not only energized their fan base, but also reshaped their defense in a significant way. They made a bold statement by selecting Georgia linebacker Jalen Walker with the 15th pick and then trading up to snag Tennessee edge rusher James Pierce Jr. at 26. These weren't just selections, they were declarations that this team is no longer content to linger in mediocrity. A new era for the Falcons. A.J. Terrell, the Falcons' all-pro cornerback, couldn't contain his excitement about the new additions. The energy is palpable and the message is clear. The Falcons are ready to compete. As the dust settles from the draft, the question remains. Will they take the plunge and trade Cousins to a rival, or will they hold on to their new cornerstone in hopes of a brighter future? Stay tuned, because this story is just beginning and the implications could be monumental for the NFC South. In a recent appearance on The Waterboy Show, A.J. Terrell made waves by publicly expressing his excitement about the direction the Atlanta Falcons are heading. He revealed that he personally reached out to rookie linebacker Jalen Walker after the draft, emphasizing the alignment between the front office and coaching staff in their mission to build a defense capable of competing at the highest level. But while the defense is taking shape, the offense remains shrouded in uncertainty. The quarterback quandary. At the heart of this offensive dilemma is the quarterback position. Rookie Michael Penix Jr. is undoubtedly the future, but the pressing question is he ready to lead the team now? If the answer is no, can the Falcons afford to let Kirk Cousins walk, or worse, send him to a division rival? The stakes are high and the narrative of revenge looms large. Remember Cousins' first game against the Vikings as a Falcon? It was supposed to be his redemption arc, but instead it turned into a brutal reminder of the league's long memory as Minnesota exacted their payback. If Atlanta views Cousins as washed up, they might not care where he lands. But that's a dangerous gamble. The Saints may be struggling, but this rivalry is fierce and any advantage counts. Handing them a quarterback like Cousins, even for a single season, could come back to haunt the Falcons. Weighing the risks. However, if the Saints are willing to pay a premium and absorb a significant portion of Cousins' contract, it might be worth the risk for Atlanta to clear their books and accelerate the Penix era. This decision could set the stage for a new chapter in Falcons football, but it's not without its complications. Speaking of transitions, the Falcons' interior defensive line is also undergoing a significant shift. For the first time in a decade, veteran Brady Jarrett is gone, cut in a cap-saving move, and now with the Bears. His absence leaves a gaping hole that the Falcons are banking on young talents like Rook Ororo and Brandon Dorris to fill by 2025. Head coach Raheem Morris is optimistic, pointing out that second-year leaps are a real phenomenon in the NFL. He's betting big on these young linemen to step up, but the question remains, who will emerge as a reliable interior pass rusher? The defensive landscape, David Onyemata is back for now, but he's a free agent after this season, which means the Falcons could find themselves scrambling for answers if their young prospects don't pan out. Meanwhile, the quarterback room is deep but far from settled. A.J. Terrell stands as the only lock in the secondary, while Mike Hughes is a reliable option. The real question is, who will claim the nickel role? It's a four-way battle among Billy Bowman Jr., Clark Phillips III, D. Alfred, and Hughes himself. Bowman brings experience but played mostly free safety in college, while Alfred's contract has been reduced. Phillips is more comfortable on the outside, leaving the competition wide open. A season of uncertainty. As the Falcons navigate this season of uncertainty, the decisions they make regarding Cousins and their young talent will shape the future of the franchise. Will they take the risk of trading Cousins to a rival, or will they hold on to him as they transition into a new era? The answers lie ahead, and the stakes have never been higher for Atlanta. The clock is ticking and the pressure is mounting. Stay tuned because the next chapter in Falcons football is about to unfold. As training camp approaches, one of the biggest mysteries facing the Atlanta Falcons is the future of Kyle Pitts. When he was drafted 4th overall in 2021, expectations soared. Pitts burst onto the scene with an explosive rookie year, racking up 68 catches for 1,026 yards, breaking records and defying expectations. However, since that dazzling debut, he has managed just 1,625 yards and 10 touchdowns over 3 seasons. Injuries, system changes, and questionable usage have all taken their toll on this once promising star. The tight end dilemma. Zach Robinson, the Falcons' second-year offensive coordinator, is optimistic about Pitts' potential for a breakout season. But here's the twist that has fans biting their nails. Robinson plans to utilize Pitts primarily as a traditional tight end, blocking first, routes later. This conservative approach is reminiscent of the strategy that head coach Arthur Smith was criticized for in the past. Pitts undoubtedly possesses the talent, but can he truly thrive if he's confined to such a limited role? Or is it time for fans to face the uncomfortable truth that perhaps Pitts isn't the unicorn they once believed him to be? This is just the beginning of a story filled with intrigue and pivotal decisions that could define the franchise. The questions loom large. Will Kirk Cousins don the black and gold next season? Will Kyle Pitts finally break free from the constraints of his role? And can this defense evolve into something truly special? Share your thoughts in the comments because the answers are crucial for a fan base eager for a new era. The offensive line, a critical component. Now let's shift our focus back to the offensive line, a unit that often flies under the radar but could make or break the Michael Penix Jr. era. The Falcons currently have Jake Matthews locked in at left tackle and Caleb McGarry at right tackle. But there's a catch. McGarry is a free agent after this season, and Matthews, at 33, is nearing the twilight of his career. The Falcons are acutely aware that they need to act fast, which is why they drafted Wisconsin's Jag Nelson in the 7th round, a developmental project who will face his first test in rookie minicamp. But here's the dilemma. You can't gamble with a rookie quarterback's blindside protection. Penix is a lefty, which flips the importance of the tackle positions. Suddenly, McGarry's right tackle spot becomes the blind side, and with his impending free agency, the Falcons must hope that Nelson develops quickly. If he doesn't, they may find themselves forced to open the checkbook or use another premium pick to shore up the line. The weight of expectations. Yet, the biggest storm cloud looming over Flowery Branch remains the Kyle Pitts saga. It's the storyline that fans can't stop debating. Is he a generational talent being misused, or is he simply another player who peaked too early? Zach Robinson is banking on year 2 in the system to be the turning point for Pitts. He's emphasizing fundamentals, consistency, and improved technique, but fans have heard these promises before. As the Falcons prepare for the upcoming season, the pressure is mounting. The path forward is fraught with bold moves, tough decisions, and the weight of expectations from a fan base that is tired of waiting for success. The clock is ticking, and the stakes have never been higher. Will the Falcons rise to the occasion, or will they falter under the pressure? The answers are just around the corner and the excitement is palpable. Stay tuned because this season promises to be anything but ordinary. As the Falcons gear up for the upcoming season, the narrative surrounding Kyle Pitts continues to evolve. Arthur Smith has echoed similar sentiments in the past, but what's different this time? Offensive coordinator Zach Robinson insists that Pitts understands what he needs to improve. The real question remains, will he be given the opportunity to succeed in a way that truly showcases his talents? Robinson himself is under immense pressure. If Pitts disappoints again, he could find his name on the growing list of coaches who have failed to unlock the potential of this generational talent. The stakes are high and the clock is ticking. A season of new beginnings. So here we are, Weimar, with new players, new schemes, and the same burning questions. Will this finally be the year that Atlanta gets it right? The anticipation is palpable and the fan base is eager for answers. If you're ready for more in-depth Falcons news, be sure to like this video and subscribe. Go Falcons! A shocking turn of events. Potential cuts in Flowery Branch. But there's more brewing inside Flowery Branch than just the usual off-season chatter. Something that even the most hardcore Dirty Bird fans didn't see coming. 3 names are on the chopping block, and one of them could be a shocking cut that shakes up everything we thought we knew about the Falcons' 2025 roster plan. If you think this is merely about making room for rookies, you haven't been paying attention. Brace yourself, because what's happening behind the scenes now could have ripple effects all the way through September. The outside linebacker conundrum. Let's start with the outside linebacker room, a unit that is rugged, aggressive, young, and potentially lethal. But with new talent coming in, someone has to go, and that someone might be Arnold Ebiketie, a former second-round pick. Yes, that Arnold Ebiketie, the one who arrived with sky-high expectations. As he heads into his 3rd year, the question isn't whether he'll excel, it's whether he'll even make the team. Since the offseason began, Atlanta has brought in 3 new outside linebackers, raising the stakes for Ebiketie. The competition is fierce and the pressure is mounting. Will he rise to the occasion or will he find himself on the outside looking in? The road ahead. As the Falcons navigate these pivotal decisions, the implications for the roster in the upcoming season are significant. The blend of new talent and the potential for surprising cuts could redefine the team's identity as they strive for success. The excitement is building and the questions are only getting more intense. Stay tuned because the next few weeks will be crucial for the Falcons as they prepare to make their mark in the NFL. The journey is just beginning and the stakes have never been higher. As the Falcons look to reshape their defense, one position stands out as a focal point: outside linebacker. Enter Leonard Floyd, a veteran with a proven track record. With 9.5 sacks during a Super Bowl year under Raheem Morris in Los Angeles, followed by 3 more seasons of 9, 10.5, and 8.5 sacks, Floyd is not just a possibility, he's a lock for the roster. The new wave of talent joining him are the promising talents of Jalen Walker, who was drafted this year and confirmed by Jeff Ulrich as an outside linebacker, and James Pierce Jr., the edge rusher Atlanta was so keen on that they traded back into the 1st round to secure him. Don't forget about Brolin Trice, a 3rd-round pick from last year who lost his rookie season to a torn ACL but is now back and healthy. With these 4 names, the Falcons have a solid foundation. In fact, that's the exact number of outside linebackers the team carried on their initial 53-man roster last season. So where does that leave Arnold Ebiketie? He's hanging by a thread. If the Falcons decide to carry 5 outside linebackers, he might still be on the bubble. But if they stick with 4, he could find himself out of a job. The pressure of production. Let's be clear, this isn't personal, it's about production. Ebiketie hasn't secured a full-time role, and the Falcons have invested significant resources in reshaping their edge group through both free agency and the draft. There's a scenario where Jalen Walker could shift to inside linebacker during camp, potentially opening up a spot for Ebiketie. However, unless that happens, the writing may already be on the wall. The Falcons might feel they've seen enough and are ready to allocate those valuable reps to someone with more upside or untapped potential. A question for the fans. Before we move on, here's a question to ponder. Between Floyd, Walker, and Pierce, who do you think will lead the team in sacks in 2025? Drop your answers in the comments because this pass rush group could be one of the most intriguing in the league this year. The cornerback conundrum, D. Alfred's fight for survival. But we're not done yet. Next up is a name that may not evoke as much emotion among fans, but it's still a significant storyline. Cornerback D. Alfred. Remember, Atlanta didn't even place a tender on him when free agency began, allowing him to hit the market. It wasn't until some time passed that they decided to re-sign him. Now, despite starting at nickel last year, Alfred is fighting to keep his job. The battle for the nickel spot. The competition is fierce, and Alfred's position is far from secure. With the Falcons looking to bolster their secondary, every rep counts, and he'll need to prove he deserves a spot on the roster. The pressure is mounting, and the stakes are high as the team prepares for a season filled with potential and uncertainty. As the Falcons navigate these pivotal decisions, the implications for the roster and the upcoming season are significant. The blend of new talent and the potential for surprising cuts could redefine the team's identity as they strive for success. The excitement is building, and the questions are only getting more intense. Stay tuned because the next few weeks will be crucial for the Falcons as they prepare to make their mark in the NFL. The journey is just beginning, and the stakes have never been higher. The competition for the nickel spot in the Falcons secondary just got a lot more intense. Clark Phillips, a promising second-year player, is a serious contender for the starting job. Then there's Billy Bowman, a fourth-round rookie converting from safety, who brings a unique blend of range and instincts to the table. And let's not overlook Kobe Bryant, the undrafted free agent out of Kansas who boasts Big 12 accolades and was considered one of the top undrafted free agents in the entire 2025 class. Let's be honest, if you're re-signing your former starter late in free agency and then spending two of your rookie spots on nickel options, that speaks volumes about your confidence in that starter. D. Alfred could find himself on the outside looking in, not because he's a poor player, but because Atlanta may be looking to turn the page, develop younger talent, and build around long-term options. If training camp reveals that Bryant or Bowman can hold their own, it might signal the end of the line for Alfred. The Kirk Cousins conundrum, a shifting narrative. Now take a breath because the next name is sure to send shockwaves through the fan base, Kirk Cousins. The veteran quarterback, who the Falcons paid a $10 million roster bonus to back in March, was initially viewed as their backup quarterback, until he wasn't. Something has changed, and the tone surrounding Cousins has shifted dramatically. Initially, the message was clear: Cousins is a backup, but now it's morphed into, well, if the right deal comes along. This change in tone isn't just semantics, it's a signal. Cousins even had a sit-down with Arthur Blank to discuss the possibility of playing elsewhere. That's not the kind of meeting you have with a backup who's content to hold a clipboard. The trade dilemma. Here's the problem. There's no obvious trade partner on the horizon. Pittsburgh might be eyeing Aaron Rodgers, and other quarterback spots are filling up quickly. If the market dries up, Atlanta faces a tough decision. Do they keep a veteran who doesn't want to be a backup? Do they pay him to sit on the bench, or worse, sit at home? The Falcons have four options. Keep him. Hope he buys into the role and supports Michael Penix Jr. mentally. Wait for an injury. Monitor training camp injuries elsewhere and deal him quickly if a need arises. Pay him to stay away. Compensate him to keep him off the field and hope someone needs him mid-season. Cut ties, rip off the bandage, admit it didn't work out, and move on. We've seen teams make tough decisions like this before. Think of the Texans and Deshaun Watson. While the situations aren't identical, the stakes are high and the implications for the Falcons could be monumental. The road ahead. As the Falcons navigate these pivotal decisions, the implications for the roster and the upcoming season are significant. The blend of new talent, the potential for surprising cuts, and the uncertainty surrounding Kirk Cousins could redefine the team's identity as they strive for success. The excitement is building, and the questions are only getting more intense. Stay tuned because the next few weeks will be crucial for the Falcons as they prepare to make their mark in the NFL. The journey is just beginning, and the stakes have never been higher. As the situation with Kirk Cousins unfolds, the Falcons find themselves in uncharted territory. If Cousins doesn't want to be in Atlanta, and it certainly seems that way, how long before the Falcons say, enough is enough? Let's be clear. You don't accidentally end up with a $10 million backup quarterback and then flirt with the idea of trading or releasing him unless something has gone completely off script. And make no mistake, things can go off script in a hurry. Cousins didn't sign with the Falcons expecting to be behind a rookie quarterback, yet here we are. The front office and coaching staff are walking a tightrope. On one side, they can keep Cousins, banking on his veteran leadership to help Michael Penix Jr. prepare for Sundays. That's the ideal scenario. But if the mood in the quarterback meeting shifts, if Kirk starts focusing more on his own reps than on supporting Penix, then the Falcons have a problem. That kind of tension can poison a young locker room quickly. The public versus private persona. So far, Cousins hasn't made a scene. He's shown up to voluntary workouts and said all the right things in public. But that private meeting with Arthur Blank? That's the revelation. This isn't just about lunch. It's about finding a way out. What if Cousins made it clear that he wasn't interested in a backup role? If that's the case, the team might be inclined to cut ties rather than drag this situation out into the season. But here's the twist. If no one is willing to trade for him and the Falcons don't want to carry this tension into training camp, can we really see them cut a guy they paid $10 million to in March? It sounds crazy, but then again, so did the Texans keeping Deshaun Watson inactive for an entire season. The stakes are high. The stakes are incredibly high for the Falcons as they navigate this complex situation. The decisions they make regarding Cousins will not only impact the quarterback room, but could also reverberate throughout the entire locker room. The balance between maintaining a positive team culture and managing the expectations of a high-profile veteran is delicate, and one misstep could lead to significant consequences. As the Falcons prepare for training camp, the clock is ticking. Will they find a way to make this work, or will they have to make a tough decision that could alter the course of the franchise? The answers are just around the corner, and the excitement and anxiety surrounding this situation is palpable. Stay tuned because the next chapter in the Kirk Cousins saga is about to unfold, and it promises to be anything but ordinary. When a quarterback doesn't want to be there, or worse, isn't mentally present, the team has to act. Let's be honest, Michael Penix Jr. is the guy now. The Falcons are no longer protecting themselves. This isn't a battle for the field. Penix is getting first-team reps, and this is officially his team. That makes Cousins' presence all the more uncomfortable. Atlanta doesn't want a divided locker room. They don't want to deal with headlines about quarterback drama every week, and they certainly don't want a veteran quarterback quietly simmering on the bench, believing he deserves to start. This is why the situation is so critical. If Cousins doesn't fully embrace his role as a mentor, the Falcons could decide to rip off the Band-Aid and move on, trade or not. This isn't about punishing a player, it's about protecting the locker room, safeguarding the rookie quarterback, and moving forward with clarity. A shift in Atlanta's culture. Now let's take a deeper look at the implications of the situation surrounding Arnold Ebiketie, D. Alfred, and Kirk Cousins. All three represent something larger happening in Atlanta. This team isn't stuck in the past. They're not shying away from making tough decisions. Instead, they're leaning into the future with a new coaching staff, a revamped roster, and a front office that is finally acting with urgency. As training camp approaches, keep a close eye on these three positions: the outside linebacker spot, the nickel cornerback rotation, and the quarterback depth chart. A major change at any of these positions could set off a chain reaction that shapes the entire 2025 season. The fan perspective. Which cut candidate shocks you the most? Which player do you hope the team keeps? Let us know in the comments because the decisions made in the coming weeks will have lasting effects on the Falcons' trajectory. The excitement is building and the stakes have never been higher. Go Falcons!